The station floated in silence near a dying star, its metal surface glowing faintly under weak red light. Ships from many worlds were docked along its wide rings, each one carrying diplomats, guards, and observers. This place was called Aurelian Station, and it was where the Galactic Council met when decisions had to look neutral and fair. For Earth, this moment mattered more than any before. Ambassador Mara Holt stood inside her transport shuttle as it slowly connected to the station. She wore a simple dark uniform with no weapons, no medals, and no symbols of rank. That was a choice she had made herself. Humans had learned that looking harmless often made others careless. Mara was calm, but not relaxed. She had trained for years for this role: politics, alien psychology, crisis response, and survival. Still, training did not quiet the feeling in her chest. Something about this visit felt wrong. Not dangerous in a loud way, but wrong in a quiet, careful way. The docking clamps locked with a deep vibration. A green light appeared above the door. "Welcome to Aurelian Station," a flat voice said through the speakers. "Please exit the shuttle. Council staff will escort you." Mara took one slow breath and stepped forward. The corridor outside was wide and clean, made of smooth gray panels that reflected soft light. Symbols from dozens of species were carved into the walls, showing unity and cooperation. At least, that was the idea. 3 figures waited for her. 2 were tall security units built from dark alloy, their faces smooth and unreadable. Between them stood a thin alien with pale skin and wide eyes. He wore a blue robe that marked him as council support staff. "I am Elon," the alien said. His voice was polite but rushed. "I will guide you to your assigned quarters and then to the council hall." Mara nodded. "Thank you. I appreciate the assistance." Elon gestured down the corridor. As they walked, Mara paid close attention to everything around her. The sounds, the smells, the rhythm of the station. The guards moved slightly behind her, not beside her. That was unusual. Standard council protocol placed escorts at equal distance. It was a small detail, but Mara noticed it. They passed several intersections. At each one, she saw fewer beings than expected. A station hosting a full council meeting should have been crowded. "Is the council already in session?" Mara asked. Islan hesitated, only for a second, but it was enough. "Some members arrived early," he said. "Others are delayed." Mara smiled politely, but her mind was already working. Delays were common. Silence was not. They reached a lift platform. As it descended, Mara felt a slight pressure change. The air grew heavier. Her implant adjusted her breathing automatically, but it still felt wrong. "Which level is the council chamber?" she asked. Ilon looked at his data pad. Level 9. The lift continued past level 9. Mara turned her head slightly. "We passed it." "Yes," Ilon said quickly. "Your quarters are on level 11. Diplomatic housing was often separate. Still, the feeling did not fade. When the lift doors opened, the corridor was empty. No guards. No staff. The lights flickered once. Mara stopped walking. Islan turned back. "Ambassador, is this level under maintenance?" she asked. "Yes," Islan said. "It is quiet for your comfort." That answer was too fast. Mara took another step forward, then another. Her hand brushed against the inside of her sleeve where a small device rested against her skin. She did not activate it. Not yet. They reached a large door marked with neutral symbols. Islan pressed a control panel. The door slid open smoothly. Inside was not a living space. It was a chamber. The room was circular, with high walls and a domed ceiling. The floor was made of dark metal, polished to a mirror shine. There were no chairs, no windows. The door closed behind them. Mara turned slowly. "This is not a residence," she said calmly. Islan stepped back. His polite expression slipped, replaced by something cold. "No," he said. "It is not." The air changed. Mara's implant sent an instant warning through her nervous system. Oxygen levels were dropping. Gravity shifted slightly, just enough to make balance harder. Invisible fields activated around the room. "This area has experienced accidents before," Elon said. "Equipment failures, structural faults." "You were lying," Mara said. Elon did not deny it. A faint hum filled the chamber. Lines of light appeared along the walls, forming a pattern that Mara recognized too late. A containment field. Her vision blurred as pressure built inside her ears. Pain flared behind her eyes. Then her implant reacted. Before her conscious mind could respond, the device injected stabilizing compounds into her bloodstream. Her heart rate slowed. Her balance returned. Filters in her lungs adjusted, pulling usable oxygen from the thinning air. Mara dropped to one knee, not because she had to, but because it made her look weaker, Elon watched closely. "Impressive," he said. "Human resilience exceeds our projections." Mara looked up at him. "You planned this." "Yes," Elon said, "but not as you imagine." The hum grew louder. The gravity shifted again, sharper this time. The chamber was trying to crush her without leaving marks. A perfect accident. Mara's implant worked harder. Pain still burned through her body, but she stayed conscious. "You will be found," Elon continued, with no sign of attack. "The Council will regret your loss. Earth will mourn. And nothing will change." Mara forced herself to breathe evenly. "You are afraid," she said. Elon's eyes narrowed. "We are careful." The pressure increased suddenly. Mara felt blood in her mouth. She activated the device in her sleeve. It sent no signal. It made no sound. Somewhere else on the station, something changed. Inside the chamber, alarms began to flicker along the walls. The containment field wavered. Elon stepped back. "What did you do?" Mara smiled through the pain. "I asked for help." The gravity snapped back to normal. The air rushed in, cold and clean. The lights surged brighter. The chamber door unlocked. Elon stared at it in disbelief. The door slid open. A human stood there. He wore a gray maintenance uniform stained with oil and dust. A tool case hung from his shoulder. His expression was calm, almost bored. "Sorry," he said casually. "Power fluctuation on this level. Had to override the system." Elon turned sharply. "You are not authorized?" The human stepped forward. "Actually, I am." He tapped the wall panel. The chamber system shut down completely. Mara stood slowly, wiping blood from her lip. Her body still hurt, but she was alive. The human looked at her. "Ambassador Holt?" "Yes," she said. "My name is Reyes," he said. "And you're going to want to leave. Right now." Elon backed toward the wall. "This is a violation of council law." Reyes glanced at him. "So was attempted murder." The corridor outside filled with the sound of distant footsteps and raised voices. Systems across the level were waking up. Reyes handed Mara a small communicator. "Your embassy is offline," he said quietly. "That's not an accident either." Mara's expression hardened. "Then this goes deeper." Reyes nodded. "Much deeper." Station security alarms began to echo through the halls. Mara took one last look at the chamber, then at Elon, who now looked very small. "They wanted me alone," she said. Reyes smiled slightly. "Yeah, that was their first mistake." Together, they stepped into the corridor as the station around them shifted from silence to chaos. And somewhere beyond the dying star, forces that believed Earth was weak began to realize they had miscalculated. The corridor smelled of warm metal and recycled air. Mara walked carefully, her senses alert to every sound, every shadow. Reyes moved beside her, quiet and confident, as if he had done this 100 times before. The station's lights flickered above, casting long, shifting shadows on the walls. It was a strange welcome for an ambassador, but Mara knew the galaxy rarely greeted humans with friendliness. "Where are we going?" she asked, her voice low. "To a safer place," Reyes said. "Your quarters were never going to be safe. They knew you would survive the first attempt, but they expected the next one to succeed." Mara nodded. She had suspected it. Her survival was always going to provoke more action, not less. That was the danger of being human. Others often underestimated them, but never for long. They passed the service hatch that led into a maintenance shaft. Reyes opened it without hesitation. The smell of oil and ozone hit Mara, but she ignored it. She climbed through quickly, following Reyes down a narrow tunnel. The station around them was alive in subtle ways. Lights blinked in patterns, airflow shifted, and distant hums told Mara that machines were working. But none of it was threatening, at least not yet. Reyes led her to a service lift. "This goes to level 3. Not a lot of eyes here." Mara stepped inside, feeling the press of metal around her. "Why would anyone try to kill me?" she asked. Reyes shrugged. "You are not just an ambassador. You are a symbol. Humanity is young, yes, but adaptable. Past learners, they wanted to scare you, maybe even eliminate you, before others noticed how strong you could be." Mara clenched her jaw. It was exactly as she feared. The galaxy saw humans as fragile, but those who thought that way rarely survived encounters with them. The lift descended smoothly, carrying them deeper into the station. Outside, the stars shone faintly through narrow observation windows, but none of the diplomats were visible. Even the council seemed distant, uninterested. When they reached level 3, Reyes led her into a maintenance bay. It was large and empty, with racks of spare parts and small service robots moving slowly along tracks. Mara paused, letting her eyes adjust to the low light. "This is better," Reyes said. "We can move freely here and no one will notice us unless they are looking for trouble." Mara examined the space carefully. It was safe for now, but not forever. She had learned long ago that safety was always temporary. "I need information," she said. Who tried to kill me and why?" Reyes leaned against a rack, watching her closely. "I don't have all the names. Some of them are still on the council, some of them are less obvious. What I can tell you is that they expected humans to panic. They expected fear to make you weak. That's why they underestimated you." Mara let the words sink in. Fear had never been her weakness. Preparation, intelligence, and calm thinking were her strengths. Others rarely counted on those qualities in humans, and that mistake had kept her alive. A soft beep echoed through the room. Reyes glanced at a small device on his wrist. "They are moving now. We need to leave before someone finds this level." Mara followed him quickly. They moved through service corridors, weaving around ventilation shafts and maintenance drones. Mara noticed how quiet Reyes was, how precise his movements were. She realized he had worked in environments like this before, probably under more dangerous conditions than she could imagine. They reached another hatch. Reyes opened it, and they emerged into a cargo bay filled with containers and crates. Large windows looked out into space, showing the rings of Aurelian Station and the distant red glow of the dying star. Mara paused to look. The view was beautiful, but she did not relax. Danger was still close. "We have to move through here quickly," Reyes said. "Security drones patrol the main corridors. They are programmed to notice irregular movement, and they are not friendly to humans who act alone." Mara followed silently. She noticed a crate with a faded Earth insignia, probably left by traders who had come before her. The station was full of secrets, some helpful, some dangerous. Suddenly, the hum of machinery changed. Mara froze. Reyes signaled her to stop. From the shadows, a figure moved quickly, almost like a shadow itself. Mara's heart raced, but her training kept her calm. The figure was small, humanoid, and fast. It carried a device in its hand that glowed faintly. "They're here," Reyes whispered. Mara stepped forward slowly. "Let them come," she said. Her voice was steady, controlled. The figure hesitated for a moment, then lunged. Mara sidestepped instinctively, feeling the device pass inches from her shoulder. It emitted a small pulse, enough to disorient her slightly, but not enough to harm her seriously. Reyes moved, grabbing the attacker and throwing them to the floor. The figure struggled, but Reyes's grip was firm. Mara stood ready, watching every movement, her mind calculating options. "Who sent you?" she demanded. The figure spat a name in a language Mara did not recognize. Reyes shook his head. "They are just pawns," he said. "Small pieces in a bigger game. Focus on getting out first." Mara nodded. She knew he was right. Survival came before revenge. Reyes led her through the cargo bay, ducking behind containers as drones passed nearby. The patrols were systematic, but not smart enough to notice human improvisation. Mara followed his lead, moving quickly and quietly. At the far end of the bay, a small maintenance shuttle waited. Reyes opened the hatch and gestured for her to enter. Mara climbed in without hesitation. Inside, the shuttle systems activated automatically. Lights glowed softly, and the engines hummed. Mara felt a slight thrill. This was what humans did best, using intelligence and skill to turn situations in their favor. Reyes piloted the shuttle toward a hidden docking bay. The path was narrow, full of twists and turns, but he navigated it smoothly. Mara watched the station move past in slow arcs of red and silver light. "They expected you to be caught or killed," Reyes said quietly. "But you were prepared, and that makes all the difference. Humans survive because they adapt." Mara's jaw tightened. She knew that well. She also knew the council would not stop with just one attempt. They would test her again, and soon. The shuttle moved into a hidden bay, a small platform shielded from sensors. They landed smoothly. Mara stepped out, her legs stiff but steady. "This is temporary," Reyes said. "We can't stay here long. But for now, you are safe." Mara nodded. She looked around. The bay was empty except for a few crates and maintenance equipment. It was quiet, but she knew the silence would not last. "Who else is here?" she asked. Reyes hesitated. "Other humans. Not many. You are not alone, even if you think you are. We have agents embedded throughout the station. Traders, technicians, analysts, they are watching, waiting, ready. Mara's eyes narrowed. That explained a lot. She had felt it before. She was not as alone as she had been led to believe. Outside the bay, lights flickered. A distant alarm echoed through the station. Mara knew the Council's forces were searching, but they had underestimated the humans already on board. Reyes handed her a small data pad. This has schedules, patrol routes, and sensor feedback. Study it. You will need it. Mara took the pad carefully. Her mind raced as she scanned the information. Every detail mattered. Every corridor, every patrol, every access point could mean life or death. They think this is about one ambassador, Mara said. They are wrong. It is about every human who can survive, adapt, and outthink them. Reyes nodded. Exactly. That is why they underestimated us. They saw humans as weak. They will learn the hard way. Mara clenched her fist. She felt the familiar surge of determination. Fear was there, but it was small. Survival, planning, and careful action were stronger. The alarm grew louder, closer. Mara and Reyes moved to the shuttle again. It would take them deeper into the station, where the hidden humans waited. As they left the bay, Mara glanced at the distant glow of the dying star. It reminded her of the galaxy's indifference, of how fragile life could seem to others. But she also knew humanity had a way of surprising the galaxy. The shuttle lifted smoothly, carrying her away from the first attempt on her life, but not away from the larger danger. The Council would act next, and Mara would be ready. For the first time since her arrival, she allowed herself a small smile. She was alive, and she was not alone. That made all the difference. Somewhere deeper in the station, humans she had never met watched and waited. Mara Holt's survival was only the beginning, and the galaxy had yet to understand what that meant. The hunt was not over. It had only just begun. Mara gripped the datapad tightly. Every step forward was calculated, every move important. One mistake could cost her life, but she was human, and humans survived, and that knowledge would change everything. The shuttle moved silently through the hidden corridors of Aurelian Station, its engines humming softly. Mara sat beside Reyes, scanning the datapad he had given her. Her mind was alert, aware that danger could appear at any moment. Every corridor, every intersection, and every shadow mattered. Humans had always survived by noticing the smallest details, and Mara was no exception. "We are almost there," Reyes said quietly. "The rest of our people are waiting in a safe location. You are not alone, Ambassador." Mara's eyes narrowed. "I know that now. But how many? And who are they?" Reyes smiled faintly. "Enough to make a difference. Some are hidden in plain sight. Traders, technicians, pilots, even council staff. All placed here before your arrival. They were ready, but they waited for the right moment to act." Mara nodded. She had suspected it, but hearing it confirmed gave her strength. The council had tried to kill her, thinking she would be helpless, but they had underestimated the humans already in place. The shuttle slowed as it approached a large maintenance hangar. Heavy doors opened automatically as they approached, revealing a vast space filled with crates, small vehicles, and human figures moving quietly among the equipment. Each one was alert, watching the doors and scanning the corridor. One of them stepped forward, a woman with short hair and calm eyes. "Ambassador Holt?" she asked. "Yes," Mara replied. "I am Ellen, part of the team here," the woman said. "We have been monitoring the council and their plans. You are safe now, but we must move quickly. The station is not fully secure." Mara stood, feeling a mix of relief and determination. "Thank you. I need to know everything. What they planned, who is involved, and what comes next." Ellen nodded. "The attempt on your life was not random. It was coordinated. Several council members feared humanity's rapid growth and adaptability. They wanted to remove you quietly, making it look like an accident. But they did not account for the humans already in the station. They did not expect resistance." Mara glanced at Reyes. "And this network? How many are here?" Reyes gestured around the hangar. "Not all of them are visible, but there are at least 20. More are embedded in other parts of the station. You are never alone, even if it seems that way." The hangar was quiet except for the soft hum of equipment and the low voices of humans coordinating their positions. Mara noticed how organized they were, each person knowing exactly where to be and what to do. This was not just survival, it was preparation, and it made her feel a sense of pride. "We have been watching the council's movements for weeks," Ellen continued. "They underestimated you and us. They think humans are young and weak, but they are learning, slowly, that we are not. The attempted assassination will change everything if we act carefully." Mara listened, her mind processing the information. She had known humans were adaptable, but seeing the network in action brought the truth home. This was strength hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment to be revealed. A faint alarm sounded in the distance. Mara turned toward it, alert. Reyes and Ellen moved immediately, signaling the others to take positions. "Patrols," Reyes whispered. "They are scanning the area. We need to be ready." The hangar doors opened slightly and 2 Council security drones moved in, their movements precise and calculated. They scanned the area, sensors glowing faintly. Mara felt the familiar tension in her chest, the one that told her danger was near, but also that she could control it. "Do not engage unless necessary," Reyes instructed quietly. "Let them pass. We will act only when we have the advantage." Mara nodded. Humans rarely fought blindly. They waited, observed, and acted with intelligence. That was why they survived. The drones moved slowly, scanning the hangar. Mara stayed behind a stack of crates, her hands steady. She watched the sensors move, learning their pattern, timing their steps. Every second mattered. As the drones passed, a small human figure slipped out of the shadows and signaled to Mara. It was Nolan, another member of the hidden network. "Ambassador," he whispered, "we have clear passage to the secondary corridors." "Follow me." Mara followed Nolan, moving quickly but carefully. The corridors were narrow and dimly lit, but she noticed small details that revealed hidden access points and emergency exits. Humans had prepared every route, anticipating possible attacks and monitoring the Council's movements. "They thought they could isolate you," Nolan said quietly, "but humans never act alone, even when it looks like it. You are part of something larger, even if you did not know it before." Mara felt a surge of determination. She had always known humans were capable of surprising the galaxy, but seeing it firsthand was different. Strength did not come from weapons alone. It came from preparation, loyalty, and coordination. They reached a secure chamber, small but fortified. Inside were more humans, each one alert and ready. They nodded as Mara entered, recognizing her immediately. She felt a sense of connection, even with those she had never met before. "Ellen," Mara said, turning to the woman who had guided her, "tell me about the Council." "Who exactly wanted me gone?" Ellen hesitated. "Not all names are known. Some are obvious. Members who openly mistrust humanity. Others are hidden. Council aides and advisors who manipulate decisions quietly. They coordinated the attempt, but they did not account for us." Mara clenched her hands. "And their next move?" "They will try again," Reyes said. "So happy they think removing one ambassador will stop humanity? They are wrong. We are embedded, prepared, and ready. We will not be caught off guard a second time." Mara's eyes narrowed. The Council had miscalculated, but humans rarely repeated mistakes. Every action now mattered, and every detail could determine survival. Outside the chamber, the station continued its quiet operation, unaware that a hidden network of humans controlled key systems. Sensors, doors, and communications were quietly under their watch. The Council believed they were moving freely, but every step was being observed, every plan anticipated. Mara turned to the group. "We need to prepare for the next attempt. Not just for me, but for humanity. We cannot let them think we are weak." Ellen nodded. "We have already started. Every member of the network knows their role. They are ready to act when necessary. You are not alone, Ambassador." Mara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility. She had always known this mission would be difficult, but now she understood the full scale of what was at stake. Humanity's presence in the galaxy was fragile, but it was growing stronger every day. "Good," she said firmly. "Then we act carefully, watch closely, and move when necessary. Every council member who thinks they can remove us will learn they were wrong." Reyes glanced at her, a faint smile on his face. "Exactly. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And sometimes humans surprise the galaxy in ways others cannot imagine." Mara felt a sense of pride and resolve. She was no longer alone, and the humans hidden across the station would act as one when the time came. Together, they were stronger than the council expected. The distant hum of the station continued, soft but persistent. Mara knew the council would soon realize their mistake. The attempt on her life had revealed humans in the station, and humans never acted without a plan. "We need to move again," Nolan said, checking the sensors outside the chamber. "Patrols are changing routes. We must stay ahead." Mara nodded. She followed Nolan and the rest of the network as they moved through hidden corridors, taking care to avoid detection. Every turn, every doorway, and every sensor mattered. Humans had always survived by understanding their environment better than anyone else. As they advanced, Mara reflected on what she had learned. The council had underestimated humans because they appeared weak. They had forgotten that intelligence, preparation, and loyalty were more powerful than any weapon. "We are ready," Mara said quietly, almost to herself. "They may try again, but we will be ready." Reyes nodded. "They do not understand. Humans do not act alone. And now they will see what happens when we act together." The network moved silently through the station, invisible to the council's sensors, yet fully aware of every movement around them. Mara Holt, the ambassador who had survived an assassination attempt, walked among humans who had waited patiently, ready to strike only when the time was right, and the galaxy, which had thought humans were fragile and weak, would soon learn a very different truth. Mara's determination grew with every step. She was alive, she was not alone, and humanity's hidden strength was waiting to be revealed. The council believed they were in control, but the humans embedded across the station were about to show them that survival, strategy, and unity could not be underestimated. Mara Holt had survived once, and now, with the hidden network, she was ready to ensure that humanity would not only survive, but be respected, feared, and recognized in ways the council had never imagined. The hunt was far from over, but for the first time, Mara felt a quiet confidence. She was human, they were human, and humans were never truly alone. The next move belonged to them, and when it came, the council would learn that the galaxy had misjudged humanity entirely. Every corridor, every hidden corner, every quiet observer would play a role. And Mara Holt, at the center of it all, would lead the way. The galaxy had expected fear. Instead, it would witness preparation, intelligence, and unity, the true power of humanity. The hidden corridor smelled of oil and recycled air. Mara walked carefully, her steps quiet but deliberate. Every movement counted. Around her, the hidden humans moved with precision, checking sensors, watching the cameras, and marking patrol schedules. This station was no longer just a place for council politics. It had become a chessboard, and humans were quietly placing their pieces. Reyes led the way. "The council thinks they can control the situation. They are wrong," he said quietly. "They have no idea how many of us are here, or how well we are connected." Mara's eyes followed every movement, noticing cameras in the corners, small vents above, and maintenance hatches that could serve as escape routes or shortcuts. She had learned that in situations like this, intelligence mattered more than weapons. "Where exactly are we going now?" she asked. "To the council hall," Reyes said, "but not the main entrance. There is a route only a few people know. We will take control before anyone realizes it." Mara nodded. She had expected nothing less. Humans never walked blindly into danger. They prepared, they observed, and then they acted decisively. That was what had kept her alive so far, and it was what would ensure survival in the next stage. The corridor turned sharply, leading to a maintenance lift. It descended silently, carrying them past several floors. Mara checked the datapad again. Every detail was accounted for. The patrols, the drone patterns, even the timing of station routines. She was impressed. Humans were meticulous when they needed to be. At level 9, they exited the lift and entered a service corridor running parallel to the council's main chamber. Here, the hidden humans had already prepared. Sensors were jammed or rerouted, doors unlocked, and emergency systems ready to isolate intruders. Ellen, who had been moving beside Mara, whispered, "This is where we take control. The council doesn't expect a direct move yet. They think we are scattered and weak." Mara nodded. "They will see quickly that we are neither." Ahead, the main council chamber loomed, its tall doors glowing faintly under the station lights. Mara could feel the presence of the council members inside. She knew they were busy with their session, unaware that humans were now positioned around them, ready to intervene if necessary. "Remember," Reyes said, "we act only when it is necessary. The goal is to show strength without unnecessary bloodshed. We want them to understand, not destroy everything. Control, not chaos." Mara's mind worked quickly. She understood the balance. Humans were strong, adaptable, and precise. The council had underestimated that. Now they would learn, but Mara did not want to prove it through destruction alone. The hidden humans split into small teams, moving to strategic points around the chamber. Sensors were adjusted, communications rerouted, and small devices placed to monitor council activity. Every detail was covered. Mara stepped into the chamber quietly, her posture calm. The council members looked up, surprised to see her already there. Some were shocked, others suspicious, but all had expected fear or confusion, not calm confidence. "Ambassador Holt," one senior counselor said sharply. "How did you get here?" Mara smiled faintly. "By walking carefully and observing what others failed to notice," the council murmured. Mara continued. Your attempt on my life was not unnoticed, and your plan to remove Earth from influence has been recorded and shared. You have underestimated humanity's reach and intelligence." Gasps echoed through the chamber. Mara held their attention with her calm voice and steady eyes. The humans hidden around the station monitored everything, ready to intervene if anyone moved against her. "This is not about revenge," Mara continued. "It is about understanding. Humanity survives because it adapts, prepares, and acts with intelligence. Those who underestimated us are learning that lesson now." A senior counselor stood, trying to assert control. "This is highly irregular. You cannot." Mara held up her hand. "Please, listen carefully. You will not remove Earth from this council through secrecy or assassination. Humanity is not fragile. We are prepared, and we are not alone." The murmurs grew louder, but Mara remained calm. She had expected resistance, anger, and disbelief. That was why every human on the station was ready. Outside the chamber, hidden doors opened to allow small groups of humans to observe council reactions, ensuring no one could act against Mara without being noticed. Every movement was calculated, every step deliberate. Mara turned to the council. "You see, this station is controlled, not by fear, but by preparation and unity. Humans are young, yes, but we learn quickly, adapt faster, and work together. Attempting to isolate or remove us only exposes your weaknesses." The council members exchanged uneasy glances. Some were visibly angry, others worried. Mara continued, "Your attempt on my life has changed nothing except your understanding of humanity. We are not weak. We are not alone. And we will act when necessary, but always with strategy, not chaos." The room grew quiet. Mara's presence and words held authority. She had expected hesitation and disbelief, and she used it to her advantage. The council could no longer ignore the reality before them. Rhea, Zelen, and other hidden humans watched from the corridors, ensuring no interruptions, monitoring reactions, and preparing for any sudden movement. Every detail mattered. The humans had learned that the galaxy respected power, but power without control was dangerous. Mara spoke again, her voice firm. "I do not seek war. I do not seek dominance. I seek understanding and respect. But if you act against humanity, you will see the consequences of underestimating those you believe are weak." The council remained silent, absorbing her words. Mara knew they had felt the fear and surprise already. They were realizing that humans were not just present. They were embedded, organized, and capable. Outside, the hidden humans coordinated silently. Every access point, every camera, and every sensor was monitored. They had control over movement in and out of the chamber. If any council member attempted action against Mara, they would be stopped immediately, without bloodshed if possible. Mara turned to face the room fully. "You will need to reassess your assumptions. Humanity is not a minor presence. We are not naive. We are not powerless. You attempted to remove an ambassador, thinking it would weaken us. It has done the opposite." The council was shaken. Their plan had failed, and now they were confronted with humans in control of the station without firing a single shot. Mara's calm authority demonstrated strength far greater than any weapon. Rhea stepped forward briefly, nodding to Mara, then returned to monitoring points. The hidden network remained invisible, yet fully present. Their work had ensured that the council could not act without being observed and understood, that humans were prepared for every contingency. Mara continued, "This is a moment for understanding, not fear. Humans can be allies. Humans can be partners. But humans cannot be ignored or underestimated. That lesson has been learned today, and it will not be forgotten." The chamber remained silent. Mara's words had made an impact. Council members who had believed humanity was weak now reconsidered their assumptions. The attempted assassination had exposed their miscalculation, and Mara's calm presence reinforced the reality of human preparedness. "Ambassador Holt," a counselor said finally, "your actions are unconventional." Mara smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But survival often requires unconventional thinking. Humans survive not because we are strongest, but because we prepare, adapt, and act together. You see the consequences now. Outside the chamber, the hidden humans adjusted sensors and monitored communications. They were ready to move at any moment, ensuring no further attempts would succeed. The station was under human control, not by force, but by strategy and intelligence. Mara looked around the chamber, her calm expression unwavering. She knew that this moment had changed everything. The council would think twice before underestimating humanity again. Her team had ensured her survival and demonstrated human strength without a single battle. This was power in its purest form: preparation, unity, and intelligence. Mara felt a sense of accomplishment, but She also knew this was only the beginning. The Council had survived the first wave of revelation. More challenges would come. But humans were ready. They had already survived an assassination attempt, and now they were in control. The galaxy would learn that humans were not weak. They were not alone, and their strength did not come from weapons alone. It came from intelligence, preparation, and the ability to act together. Mara Holt stood in the council chamber, calm and composed, knowing that humans had changed the game. The attempted assassination had failed, and humanity had demonstrated a power that could not be ignored. The council would have to adapt. The galaxy would have to adapt, and Mara Holt, at the center of it all, would ensure that humanity was never underestimated again. The humans hidden across Aurelian Station moved silently, ready to act if needed, ensuring that Mara and Earth were safe. The Council had thought they controlled the situation, but humans had shown them that intelligence, preparation, and unity could not be defeated by fear or violence. Mara Holt had survived. Humanity was not alone. And the galaxy had just received its first lesson in human strength. The hidden humans moved through the corridors of Aurelian Station like shadows, silent but precise. Mara walked among them, calm and observant. Every step mattered. Every corner, vent, and sensor was under careful watch. The station, which had seemed threatening when she first arrived, now felt like a network of controlled pathways, each one mapped and guarded by humans she had never met before. "They are mobilizing outside," Reyes said quietly, speaking into a small communicator. "A council fleet is preparing. They think they can blockade the station and force compliance. They do not understand our capabilities." Mara's eyes narrowed. "How many ships?" "Not a full fleet. Enough to intimidate. But that will not stop us," Reyes said. "We have allies who trust humanity. They will arrive in time if we need them." Mara nodded. Humans had always survived by forming alliances, even when others doubted them. This situation was no different. Every move would be calculated, every action deliberate. Panic was never part of the plan. The hidden humans positioned themselves at key access points, monitoring patrols, sensors, and communications. They were ready to intervene if necessary, but their goal was control, not destruction. Mara understood that completely. Strength was not always measured by violence. It could be shown through preparation and strategy. "Ambassador," Ellen said quietly, "we have secured the secondary corridors. The council members are isolated in the main chamber. Any sudden move will be noticed immediately. We control access." Mara's lips curved into a small smile. Humans were everywhere, yet invisible. That was the advantage the council had failed to anticipate. "Good," Mara said firmly. "Then we act with intelligence. Every step counts. Every observation matters. We show strength without chaos." Outside the station, the council's fleet began to move. Small ships, armed and ready, approached the docking ports, intending to isolate Aurelian Station and force surrender. They had assumed that fear would make humans compliant. They were wrong. Inside the station, the hidden humans monitored every approach. Sensor feeds were rerouted and communications intercepted. Mara saw the patterns on her datapad. The fleet's movements were predictable, but the council did not know that humans could act faster than their calculations allowed. "They expect a confrontation," Reyes said. "They do not understand the humans already embedded here. They believe control comes from intimidation. We will show them control comes from intelligence." Mara's eyes moved across the map of the station. Small dots indicated hidden humans at strategic points. Each one had a role. Some monitored patrols, others controlled doors and sensors, and a few were ready to intercept any council operative who attempted direct action. "This is impressive," Mara said quietly. "I underestimated how prepared humans could be in this situation. Not just for survival, but for control." Reyes nodded. "Preparation is our strength. We survive by seeing what others miss, acting when necessary, and never panicking. Humanity has always been underestimated. That is our advantage." Mara's mind raced with possibilities. The council fleet would act, but they would not succeed because the humans in the station already had control over critical systems. Communication, power, doors, even minor defense systems were quietly managed by humans who had been waiting for the right moment. "Prepare for their move," Mara said. "We cannot wait for them to make mistakes. We must anticipate everything." The council's fleet drew closer, but inside the station, humans remained calm and precise. Mara moved with them, giving directions, observing patterns, and ensuring coordination. The hidden network operated like a single organism, each part aware of the others, each action reinforcing the whole. "The ambassador moves with confidence," a council officer whispered to a senior member. "She is not afraid." "That is exactly what is dangerous," the senior member said quietly. "Humans act differently. They do not panic. They adapt." Mara observed the chamber from the monitoring screens. The council members inside were becoming uneasy. They had believed humans were fragile, but now they were confronted with evidence that humans were not only present in the station, but fully prepared. "We do not need to fire a single shot," Mara said. "They will learn our strength from intelligence and control, not violence. Let them see that humans act with purpose, and the galaxy respects action backed by preparation." Outside the station, small fleets from other systems began to arrive. These were allies who had quietly observed humans over time and recognized their capability. They had been waiting for the moment to intervene if necessary. Mara's lips tightened. The council had overplayed their hand. They had tried intimidation and assassination, but humans had survived, coordinated, and now had allies ready to support them. "The council thinks they hold the advantage," Reyes said quietly. "They are wrong. We have patience, preparation, and coordination. That is more powerful than their weapons." Mara nodded. She had always known that humans survived through intelligence. Now it was being proven on a galactic stage. The hidden humans continued to move through the station, positioning themselves at critical points. Sensor feeds were adjusted, doors controlled, and patrols monitored. Mara walked among them, giving quiet instructions, observing, and learning. Every detail was important. "This is more than survival," Mara said quietly. "This is showing the galaxy that humans are not weak, and they are not alone. That is our power." Reyes glanced at her. "Exactly. Humans survive, adapt, and act together. That is what the Council failed to understand. That is why they are losing control." Mara's eyes narrowed as she observed the Council fleet outside. They moved with precision, but every move was calculated by humans in the station. Every step was anticipated, every pattern observed. The Council had assumed fear would control humans. They were wrong. "Prepare to communicate," Mara said. "We will broadcast our position and intentions. Transparency is a strength. They must see that we act with intelligence, not chaos." Ellen adjusted the communications array. "Signal ready. Broadcasting to all nearby systems, including Council observers. They will see the humans embedded in the station, our control of the environment, and our coordination with allies." Mara stepped forward. "Do it. Let them see that humans are prepared, capable, and not alone." That lesson must be learned now. The broadcast went live. The Council fleet and other observers witnessed the hidden humans, the precise control over the station, and the calm authority of Mara Holt. Their assumptions about human weakness crumbled instantly. "This is unexpected," a Council officer said quietly. "They are coordinated everywhere." "How is this possible?" Mara's lips curved into a small smile. "They underestimated humans," she said. "They assumed fear would control us, but intelligence, preparation, and unity control the outcome." Outside, the small-eyed fleets recognized the message. They had waited for proof of human capability. Now it was visible. They began to maneuver closer, ready to support if necessary, knowing that humans had already secured the station without bloodshed. Inside the station, hidden humans remained vigilant, monitoring patrols, doors, and communications. Every Council move was observed, every action anticipated. The attempted assassination had failed, and the Council realized too late that humans had prepared for this outcome. "This is the power of preparation," Mara said quietly. "They believed humans were weak. They believed we would be afraid. They were wrong. Strength is not in fear, but in intelligence, strategy, and unity." The Council members inside grew more uneasy. Their plan to intimidate and isolate humans had failed. They now faced the reality that humans were not only resilient, but also fully embedded, organized and ready to act together. "Ambassador Holt," a senior counselor said finally, "your actions are effective, but what do you want?" Mara's eyes held steady. "Understanding, respect, and the recognition that humans are not to be underestimated. We do not seek war, but we will survive, and we will act when necessary. That is our strength." The hidden humans continued to monitor, ensuring no one could act against Mara without being noticed. Every corridor, sensor, and door was under human control. The Council had assumed weakness, but humans had proven the opposite. Mara Holt stood among them, calm and determined. The attempted assassination had failed. The Council fleet could not intimidate them. Allies were in position. The station was controlled without violence. Humans had survived. Humans had adapted. Humans had demonstrated strength and intelligence and coordination, and the galaxy, which had assumed humans were weak, was finally beginning to understand. Mara looked at Reyes and Ellen. We have won this moment, but this is only the beginning. We must remain vigilant, prepared, and united. Humanity will not be underestimated again. Reyes nodded. The lesson is clear. Humans survive, adapt, and act together. They always have, and they always will. Mara felt a surge of determination. The Council had miscalculated. Humanity had survived, and now they had shown the galaxy their real strength. The Council fleet outside remained, but their movements had slowed. They realized they were no longer in control. Humans inside the station had demonstrated intelligence, preparation, and unity. The attempted intimidation had failed. Mara Holt had survived an assassination attempt. Humanity was not alone. And the galaxy had just witnessed the beginning of what humans were capable of. The hidden humans moved silently through the station, ready to act if necessary. Mara Holt, calm and determined, knew that this moment had changed everything. The Council had underestimated humanity, and they would never make that mistake again. Every move, every calculation, every observation had proven that humans survived through intelligence, preparation, and unity. And Mara Holt, at the center of it all, would lead the way. The galaxy had learned its first lesson. Humans were not fragile. Humans were not alone, and their strength could not be ignored. Mara Holt's eyes focused on the distant stars beyond the station windows. The next challenge would come, but she and humanity were ready. The Council would have to adapt, and the galaxy would have to understand the true power of humans. The Council chamber was quiet, but the tension inside was thick enough to feel. Mara Holt stood at the center, calm and steady, while the humans she had never met but now trusted completely moved silently around the room, monitoring every sensor, door, and communication line. The attempted assassination had failed, and the Council had learned something vital. Humans could survive, adapt, and act together in ways no one had expected. Outside, distant fleets hovered silently, waiting to see the result of the standoff. Some were neutral observers, others were allies who had watched humanity quietly over time, recognizing the intelligence and preparation that had kept Mara alive. They had not intervened yet because the humans inside the station already held control. Mara looked at the Council members, many of whom were visibly shaken. Their faces reflected fear, disbelief, and anger. They had assumed humans would panic, would be fragile, would submit. They had been wrong. This council believed that removing an ambassador could stop Earth from participating, Mara said clearly. They underestimated not just me, but humanity itself. We survive because we plan, we adapt, and we act with unity. That is our strength. Some counselors whispered to each other. Mara could hear their disbelief. They had assumed intimidation and secrecy would guarantee compliance, but the humans embedded in the station had proved them wrong. They had been everywhere, invisible yet fully in control. Reyes, standing quietly nearby, spoke only when Mara nodded. The Council fleet outside believes they hold advantage, he said softly. They do not. We control the station, and our allies know our capabilities. They will act only if necessary. That is how humans survive. Through intelligence, patience, and preparation. Mara turned back to the Council. We do not seek war, we do not seek dominance. We seek understanding and respect. But make no mistake, if humanity is threatened, we will act decisively, and the galaxy will see that strength comes not from fear, but from preparation and unity. The Council murmured again. Some counselors tried to assert authority. This is unprecedented, one said sharply. You cannot dictate terms. Mara interrupted calmly, her voice firm. I am not dictating terms. I am stating facts. You attempted to remove me. You assumed fear would control humans. That assumption failed. Every action you take against humanity will now be met with intelligence, coordination, and unity. That is the lesson you must learn. Outside the chamber, the hidden humans continued to monitor sensors, patrols, and communications. Every council member's move was observed. No one could act against Mara without being detected, and the council realized they could not isolate Earth without consequences. Alan spoke softly to Mara. They are beginning to understand. Some council members realized their assumptions about humans were false. The station is ours to manage, and they cannot change that without risking their own exposure. Mara nodded. Let them see strength without violence. Let them understand that humans are capable, intelligent, and united. That is far more powerful than any fleet or weapon. A senior counselor, visibly uneasy, stood and addressed Mara. Ambassador Holt, your presence is remarkable. You survived an attempt on your life. But what do you intend for the future? Mara looked steadily at him. The future requires recognition. Recognition that humans are not weak. Recognition that we act with intelligence and unity. Recognition that an attempt to isolate or eliminate Earth only strengthens our resolve and demonstrates our capabilities. The council fell silent. Mara had made her point clearly. The attempted assassination had failed, and humans had not only survived, they had proven themselves capable of controlling a critical station in the heart of the galaxy without firing a single shot. Reyes stepped forward slightly, nodding to Mara. The council must now reconsider their assumptions, he said. They see humans as intelligent, adaptable, and organized. That is power. That is influence. And it is not aggression. It is control through preparation. Mara's gaze swept the chamber. Every hidden human around the station was ready, watching and ensuring that no sudden move could harm them. They were a network of observers and protectors, invisible to the council yet fully present. The attempted assassination was meant to intimidate, Mara continued. It has failed. Instead, it revealed the true strength of humanity. We are not fragile, we are not alone, and those who underestimated us will think twice before trying again. Outside the station, fleets held position, waiting for further developments. They had watched humanity survive an attack and demonstrate control without a fight. They were beginning to understand that humans acted with intelligence, coordination, and patience. Mara spoke again, her voice steady and confident. We seek partnership, transparency, and cooperation, but we will not be ignored, underestimated, or attacked. Humans survive because we plan, adapt, and act together. That is a power you now recognize, whether you like it or not. The council members shifted uneasily. Some were trying to recover authority, but Mara's calm demeanor and the visible presence of humans across the station made it clear that intimidation would no longer work. This is not a threat, Mara said, raising her hand slightly. This is a demonstration of fact. Humanity will act with intelligence, unity, and patience. Those who threaten us will see the consequences of underestimating what appears fragile but is prepared. The hidden humans moved silently, adjusting sensors, doors, and communications. The station was fully controlled, and the council had no way to isolate or intimidate Mara. The attempted assassination had exposed weaknesses in their planning and revealed the intelligence and preparedness of humans embedded across the station. A council aide whispered to a senior member. They were everywhere. How could we not see it? The senior member said quietly, We underestimated them. That was the mistake. Mara observed them carefully. Acknowledgement is the first step, she said quietly. Do not underestimate humans again. That is the lesson learned today. Outside, the Allied fleet slowly approached, recognizing the calm control the humans in the station exercised. They had not fired a single shot, yet the station was fully secured. Humanity had survived an assassination attempt, coordinated its embedded agents, and demonstrated strategic power without chaos or violence. Reyes moved closer to Mara. They understand the cost of misjudging us. The galaxy now sees the humans are capable of more than they imagined. Mara nodded. Exactly. Strength does not always come from weapons. Intelligence, unity, and preparation are far more powerful. That is what humans have always relied on, and that is what the Council has now learned. The Council members looked around the chamber, uncertain, uncomfortable, and finally recognizing the truth. Humans were not fragile. They were not alone, and their strength came from the ability to act together, adapt, and survive. Mara spoke one final time. This moment has changed everything. The Council will now have to reassess their assumptions. Earth will not be ignored. Humanity is present, prepared, and united. You have learned the lesson we hoped you would. Never underestimate humans. The hidden humans in the station maintained vigilance, but the immediate threat had passed. The Council could no longer act without risk. Humanity had survived an assassination attempt, demonstrated control, and shown the galaxy that preparation, intelligence, and unity were more powerful than fear or intimidation. Mara looked around, seeing the silent acknowledgement in some council members' eyes. They understood the lesson, and those who had planned the assassination realized their error. It was too late for them to act against humans without consequence. The station was calm now, but alert. The hidden humans ensured that no new threat could arise without immediate notice. Mara's presence, combined with the coordinated network of humans, had shifted the balance, Reyes whispered. They will remember this. Humanity will not be underestimated again. Mara nodded, her expression calm but firm. "We are not here to dominate. We are here to survive, adapt, and act with intelligence. That is our strength." And now the galaxy sees it clearly. Outside the station, distant stars glimmered silently. Mara knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had survived, demonstrated its strength, and revealed its intelligence to the galaxy. The attempted assassination had failed spectacularly, and Earth had gained a level of respect it had never had before. The Council would have to adapt. The galaxy would have to understand. And Mara Holt, standing calm and resolute at the center of it all, would ensure that humanity was never underestimated again. The hidden humans moved silently through the station, ready for anything. Mara Holt had survived, and humanity was no longer alone. Their strength, intelligence, and unity had been revealed. The galaxy had learned its first lesson in human capability. Mara looked out at the stars, knowing that humanity had arrived in a way that could not be ignored. The future held challenges, but humans were prepared. They would survive, adapt, and act with intelligence, as they always had. The Council had tried to remove an ambassador. They had failed. And now they would have to reckon with the reality. Humans were not weak. They were not alone. And their strength had just been proven to the galaxy. Mara Holt's eyes glimmered with quiet determination. Humanity had survived, humanity had adapted, and humanity would continue to rise. The galaxy would never underestimate them again. The lesson had been delivered. The Council had witnessed it. The humans embedded in Aurelian Station had ensured it. And Mara Holt, standing calm and confident, knew this was only the beginning of a new chapter for Earth and humanity in the galaxy.